Thank you for joining us today. We will be reviewing some mental health essentials for raising children. With us today is Allie Matheny. She is a licensed clinical social worker and our lead EAP counselor here at Baycare. Take it away, Allie.
Thank you. All right, as Jackie said, my name is Allie Matheny. I've been working for Baycare for almost 8 years now, and I've been a single parent all 8 of those years. My child is 12 years old, so I know firsthand the stresses that working parents face on a day-to-day basis. And so today I thought I would go over some personal and professional insights into some of the things we face as parents. So we're going to do an overview of the mental health needs, how to cope, manage stress, and stay connected for your well-being. My hope for today's presentation is that you walk away with one new idea or skill to help you navigate your mental health as a parent. I would love it if you could let me know if you're a parent in the audience, maybe throw me a number, how many kids you have, or if you just hit the little like button, the thumbs up, the hearts. I know I saw one already. Somebody is single parent of a 19-year-old. So good to see that. I love it. Other parents out there. All right. The reality of parenting. Parenting is portrayed as a rewarding experience. And yes, I do definitely agree with that. But two things can be true at once. Parenting can be rewarding, and it can also be demanding and exhausting. The reality is that parenting also comes with significant mental health challenges that will impact our overall well-being. As parents, we are frequently juggling multiple responsibilities, including childcare, household management, our professional obligations, and sometimes our children do have higher needs with their own health or behaviors that are showing up. All of these examples can lead to chronic stress and emotional exhaustion. Studies show that nearly 40% of parents report experiencing anxiety or depressive symptoms during their parenting journey. This definitely highlights the importance of addressing these issues more proactively instead of reactively. But it doesn't help that the stigma surrounding mental health often prevents us from seeking that help. It builds on that guilt and isolation. But we definitely want to have the insight into our own mental health and how that's showing up in our lives, how that's showing up at home. So I thought we'd spend a little bit of time kind of going over what these common mental health struggles as parents can be. They look like chronic stress and burnout, anxiety about our children, depression and isolation, guilt and shame. And there's probably more that I could list, but I wanted to stick to the big ones. Chronic stress stems from the constant demands of caring for our children, managing our household, keeping up with our work obligations, keeping up with our child's needs, their sporting events, their friend groups, making sure they're entertained. That chronic stress leads to the burnout, which is from the prolonged stress and emotional exhaustion, and it leads to decreased motivation. The symptoms sometimes show up as irritability, kind of that short-temperedness, just feeling too tired to do anything, wanting to just get home and go in our rooms or be left alone. Maybe we even feel helpless, like we're alone. Sometimes that can put a strain on our family and reduce our overall quality of life because we don't want to be like that. Then we have anxiety, which can arise from concerns about our child's health, their education. Maybe it's about their future. Another very common place that anxiety shows up is our children's safety, especially when they're at school. Are they being bullied? Are they safe? Are they being exposed to anything at school that I wouldn't want them exposed to? Just the other day when I'm picking my son up from school, he's 12, he's in middle school. He tells me that they had an active shooter drill and they talked over all the steps the kids are supposed to take if there's an active shooter on campus. He was scared, which made me scared. I'm a parent. I don't want to have to think that my child could face something like that. So it instantly triggers that type of anxiety for us as parents. Depression and isolation are another very common thing that parents face. It can arise from not feeling supported, feeling alone, feeling like you don't have anyone to talk to, like nobody would understand what you're going through. So we isolate and we try and deal with those feelings by ourselves. Guilt and shame. I know I'm guilty of mom guilt a lot. Maybe it's that I'm feeling like I didn't spend enough time with my son. I was too busy. I didn't pay attention to something he wanted to show me. I could have spent more time doing homework with him. Maybe I took a tone with him when I was feeling irritable or stressed. All of those type of thoughts lead to that guilt and shame about what we're not doing and how we could have shown up better. But it also takes away from the joy of the things that we are doing right as parents. Research indicates that parents are particularly vulnerable to all of these challenges. Sometimes it's due to sleep deprivation, it's financial pressures and strain, and the big one, lack of personal time. Before kids, we had time to do more things. After kids, everything becomes about the kids, and our personal needs and our personal time takes the back burner. But recognizing all of these things, the chronic stress, the burnout, maybe the excessive anxiousness, it's crucial for getting those early interventions, asking for help. All of these experiences are common among parents, and talking about it can reduce feelings of isolation and encourage others to get help. So again, we want to recognize these things and we want to address it so that we can have a happier quality of life. But how do we address it? What do we do? And I get it. Looking at this list right now is like the cliche therapist list of things to do and how to be well. The last thing that I want you all to walk away with is more tasks to add to your busy schedules. I really want to spend time with practical and simple strategies so that it doesn't feel like more of the never-ending list of things I need to do but don't have time to do as a parent. We'll start with everybody's favorite trendy phrase, self-care. These days, those two words can feel like shame because we all know we should be doing it, but it can feel impossible. Or we're comparing ourselves to what someone else's self-care looks like, and we shame ourselves for not doing it that way or a better way. Self-care is not about getting our nails done or going on shopping sprees or going golfing. Maybe it is. Maybe that works for you, and that's okay. But self-care is more about intention. Self-care is the practice of taking a role in your well-being and your happiness. It's in this way that we can show up for ourselves and others, including our children. Self-care is essential for parents to maintain mental health and resilience. I used the word intention a moment ago. Intentional self-care looks like taking time for you, even if it's just 15 minutes, like reading, exercising, practicing mindfulness. That could be maybe spending 15 minutes of your lunch break outside or sitting near a window. That could be reading a book on your lunch break instead of scrolling through social media and getting hit with all of the bad news going on. Maybe that's choosing to drink water or non-caffeinated tea in the afternoon instead of soda or coffee. We're looking for simple swaps here that can be made with intention instead of obligation. Does anybody have any ideas or comments on a simple swap that they could make? Feel free to put it in the chat. We can read it out.
Hey, Allie, I shared in the chat that I've been trying to focus on setting some healthy boundaries and saying no as a form of self-care. I can't do everything for everyone all the time, and setting those boundaries, it's tough, but I have found that it's what I need to make sure that I am okay.
Yes, yes. I love that you brought boundaries up. I am going to hit on that one here in just a few minutes because boundaries is another very important self-care skill that can be learned. Emotional self-care, it's exactly what we're about to talk about. Setting and maintaining the boundaries. It looks like not overcommitting to social events or taking on extra work duties because we feel obligated to do so. Maybe it looks like limiting exposure to social media or the news. Maybe it's removing yourself from conversations that you don't want to be involved in, like the office or neighborhood gossip that goes on. It is okay and it is normal for you to recognize that you just don't have the capacity to engage in these type of conversations or events. I also want to stress that setting boundaries is not selfish. Choosing your well-being is self-care, and it is okay to set those limits. Next, we move on to getting some physical activity. A lot of us sit at a computer all day. I do. I'm sitting all day long on my computer. And it's no secret that sitting all day is not good for our health. I am definitely not saying that everyone needs to get up and go to the gym and make those big lifestyle changes. We don't need to do that every day to get some physical activity in. It looks like standing up at your desk and doing some stretches every now and then, maybe doing a few air squats or some twists just to get movement. Maybe it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator a couple times a week if you go into the office. I know I like to park my car farthest away from the entrance of wherever I'm at so that I can get a few extra steps in. Also keep my car a little safe from people dinging it up, Just those little intentional things that you can implement into your day that don't take much thought or too much effort, feeling like a chore. Another idea that I had was maybe planning a family walk every night, like after dinner or right before bedtime. We're just going to walk down to the end of the street and back. Maybe have the kids point out different things they see, find a rock that they like, see if they can spot any birds, making it something fun and something that they can look forward to, but we're also getting some movement in. The ideas can really be endless here. So if anybody has any ideas for some simple movement hacks that we can add into our day that don't feel like a big chore, please feel to shoot those in the chat as well. I'd love to hear some other ideas, maybe some things I haven't even thought of. I see a boundary setting phrase in the chat, by the way. Says, saying things that doesn't work for me, but thanks for the invite. I love that. Short, simple, friendly, and to the point. Somebody has a desk riser for their computer. Yes, as do I. I also got myself a walking pad so that I could get some steps in. Cross stitching at night instead of doom scrolling. Yes, big ones. Something, maybe reading a book at night. Maybe I like the cross knitting. I can't even top that. That's a good one. Good ideas. So much like the cross stitching, that sounds like a hobby. Breaks and hobbies are good forms of self-care and help you have a sense of identity outside of just being a significant other or a parent or an employee or a friend. A hobby I recently started is actually bird watching. So I'm 35 years old and I have a little bird feeder outside my window. I open my window and I just see all the different birds coming in all day long. It's kind of become a fun thing for me to try and guess what bird it is. Seems silly, but it's a good little mindfulness break, and I enjoy trying to figure out what species it is. Um, Something else that I like to do is take little music breaks. If I've had a really stressful event happen, pop on one of my favorite songs in my headphones for 2 to 3 minutes and just kind of dance it out. Nobody can see me. Nobody knows what I'm doing. Just getting it done, shaking it out, feeling better, resetting. Maybe if we're in the office, we don't dance it out. We just go for a little walk around the building, take a few deep breaths, and come back. Anybody else have any hobbies or ideas? I know we talked about cross stitching. I shared my bird watching. There's no shortage of sharing here. What we share, we're inviting other people to join and try to see if it works for them as well. Somebody took social media apps off their phone, can only access from laptops. That's a really good idea. Too much social media is not a good thing. I'm a big believer in that. Somebody reads their Bible instead of screen time. That's a good one too. Reading the Bible, reading any book, listening to a podcast, screen time limits on the phone. Yes, all great ideas and good boundaries to have for yourself. See how they kind of all intertwine with each other. That's all good self-care. All right, let's move on to stress management. Managing stress effectively requires a combination of proactive planning and adaptive coping strategies. Stress management does walk hand in hand with self-care, but we do have some differences that we can address here. First thing we want to do is be able to recognize the stress triggers. This is the act of being able to recognize and identify within yourself when that heart rate goes up, when you're feeling anxious or rushed or pressured. Maybe the morning routine is always chaotic and stressful. Like I said, step one is recognizing and acknowledging it. Step two is asking yourself what can be done differently to address it. Do I need to wake up earlier? Do I need to set everybody's clothes out the night before? Do I need to set backpacks by the door so it's a simple grab and go in the morning? Maybe it's meal prepping breakfasts so that everybody has breakfast ready to go. One less thing we have to do in the morning. Just different things like that, kind of problem solving, recognizing that morning is stressful. So, how can I help alleviate it? That also leads into time management. Parents can benefit from creating structured schedule that allocate for time for work, time for family, time for personal activities. We want to prioritize the tasks, learn to say no to the non-essential commitments that lead to us feeling burned out or overwhelmed. Maybe this is putting together a family calendar of events so that we know what's coming up so that we don't overbook ourselves. Maybe it's a daily schedule where the kids get stickers or little check marks if they've completed a chore or done something like brush their teeth on their own without having to be told 100 times. Different ways to get creative in helping our kids learn to be self-sufficient as well, so that we as parents are not taking all that on ourselves. Relaxation techniques such as deep breathing exercises and meditation. Those are proven methods for calming our nervous systems down. Deep breathing can be done in the shower. We can get in the shower, practice taking a few deep breaths. The hot water also feels good. You don't have to have a whole separate room to sit down and practice deep breathing. It's just the intention of sitting down. I'm feeling a little stressed. Let me do some deep breaths to calm my nervous system down. Maybe that's on your way to work after you've dropped the kids off. You put on a mindfulness podcast or a YouTube channel and you can listen to the meditation. You do not have to have a yoga mat and close your eyes to meditate. You can achieve that Zen by simply creating a calming environment around you. So just getting creative with it. Anybody have any ideas on that or any thoughts about creating calmness around you when you recognize stressful areas? Decluttering your home, yes. Keeping a clean space, especially if it's the space you're working in, not having things setting around everywhere. It's a great idea. Okay. The last one on there is focusing on what you can control. We want to ground ourselves into focusing on that. There's this great little activity that I teach in therapy called rock and Play-Doh. I even have my rock and my Play-Doh with me. Play-Doh are problems that we can control by making a change because we can control the Play-Doh. We can change it into different shapes, different forms. We make a change to it. The rock problem is something that cannot be controlled. And these problems, we have to learn to cope with it. Can't change the rock no matter how, I mean, if I smashed it on something, sure, but principle of it, we can't change the rock. So example of this, I have to be to work by 9 o'clock. I live 30 minutes away, but I left at 8:55. That's a Play-Doh problem. That's something that I can control through change. Rock problem would be there's a car accident on the way to work, and now I'm stuck in traffic and I can't go anywhere. I have to cope with that. I have to put on the calming music. I have to do the deep breaths. So, rock problems, Play-Doh problems. Nice little exercise just to think to yourself when you encounter something, when you're thinking about, is this something I can control or not? Is it a Play-Doh problem or is it a rock problem? So I hope you guys find that useful. I usually use it with kids, but I found that adults like it too. So I figured I would share it with you. Creating a strong support system. Support systems can include your family members, your friends, your community, and even professional resources. Building these networks starts with open communication, sharing struggles with trusted individuals. This way, we're reducing those feelings of isolation and like we're all alone. I know that I am fortunate to have my mother and some friends close by as a good support for me. It's an easy phone call for, hey, I'm running late. Can you pick him up from school today? Usually works out. Not everybody has that for various reasons, and I do recognize that. I would encourage you all that if you do have it, be vulnerable with your friends and your family. Let them know that you need some help. Let them know your pressure points and areas that you could use some support. Maybe they'll have a solution for you that you haven't thought of. I know a lot of times that comes with us not wanting to reach out for help because we don't want to be a burden to somebody else. Everybody's going through things. A different way to think of that is think of a family member or friend that you love dearly. And now think of how you would feel if they didn't let you know they were struggling or needed your help and kept it to themselves. It's likely that how you feel about them right now is how that person feels about you. Your true support system is going to want to show up for you and want to be included in helping you, especially when it comes to your kids. Another good way to get connected is parenting groups, both in person and online. And this isn't the how-to parenting type groups. This is the staying connected parenting groups. This is the going and doing arts and crafts or field days type groups. You meet other parents and individuals facing similar challenges, can provide that emotional validation and maybe get some practical advice out of it. I know on Facebook, there's a lot of supportive parenting groups. A lot of them are specific to your neighborhoods, the town you live in. Some of them, maybe even Central Florida, South Florida. Another thing that you can do is Google. Google family events near me this weekend. I guarantee you'll find a whole list of things within a 50-mile radius of things that could be free or relatively inexpensive that you could take your family to and get involved and get out and meet people. The same is true for joining local clubs and churches or sporting teams. We're creating that social network based on shared interest. So we have things in common already by showing up to the baseball team that we're involved in, by showing up to the Pokemon Go club that's hosted at the public library every Saturday. So just some ideas to help you get connected and stay connected. Finally, we do have the professional support, such as us therapists through EAP, here to help you with your individual needs. Maybe it's the anxiety is getting too much to control and no amount of coping skills is helping. So I need to reach out for some additional support. It is definitely okay to reach out and ask for help from a professional. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been to therapy before. I will go to therapy again in the future. I know I will. Sometimes it's helpful to just have a non-biased person hear you and offer some other solutions and help you work through it. Wanted to put those resources up for you guys here at the end. There, just in case you didn't know, there is a 24/7 crisis line. I know it's technically the suicide line, but it's also a crisis line. If it's 1 o'clock in the morning, they'll just help you calm down. Does not have to be for suicide. Same with the United Way helpline. You have us as EAP. We have a 24/7 line if you're in crisis or need help. You can call us and we'll get you set up with your benefits. We will definitely work with you. There is a wide list of therapists, psychiatrists, and supportive groups in the area. We can help link you with that. We can help find those resources. Just let us know what you need and we'll be here for you. So finally, do we have any questions, any comments, anything anybody wants to share?
Allie, this is wonderful and very helpful, and I appreciate you reminding all of us, whether we are parents or caregivers or not, that we really do deserve to make ourselves a priority. Um, I do see some things in the chat where people are being intentional with doing just those things. And I wanted to say thank you for the Play-Doh or rock suggestion. I could see a lot of parents helping their little ones by offering them that as a tool to help them decide what's in their control, what is not not in their control, that's a tough one to wrap our heads around sometimes, particularly when we're
Mhm.
little.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
If anyone has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.